Let's go back to the aforementioned Noah Syndergaard. And as a gentleman by the name of Lloyd Christmas once said, you know him well, guys.
Sure.
So you're telling me there's a chance? At least that's how Noah's approaching making the big league club this year. Earlier on, I spoke with the big right-hander, asked him how he would assess his 2014 season at AAA Las Vegas.
I feel like last season was kind of a letdown for myself and for Mets fans, but I feel like it was a good learning curve for me. I don't think it was that difficult pitching in Vegas. I mean, people hear horror stories about how the ball flies there, but I mean, the other pitchers got to deal with it too, so you just got to be able to handle the adversity. I mean, if you're going to pitch down in the zone, something I didn't do very much of last year, I mean, you're going to get some ground balls. The key is just getting the ball out of the air, not letting, if say you have a bad outing, you having to leave one up and a guy hits a fly ball for a home run, just can't let that get to you. Just got to get back on the mound, have a short-term memory, and continue to deliver the next pitch.
When it comes to your mental preparation before games, how has that changed for you?
I learned a lot this year, and being in Vegas, I was really big into just becoming a thrower as opposed to a pitcher. Thought I could get fastballs by the guys. Halfway during the season, kind of opened my eyes when I started pressing a little bit. Kind of got caught up within the whole Super 2 thing. Kind of slowed things down a little bit, took a deep breath, and just kind of got down to the basics of pitching. Big believer in hitting is timing and pitching is throwing off timing. So I was able to work in my off-speed pitches really well towards the end of the season. That
having been said, Noah, how influential and what sort of a part did your pitching coach down in Las Vegas, Frank Viola, play?
Frank's been a big influence on me. He really helped me establish my changeup. Even just having a lot more confidence in my breaking pitches. I think there was one game Frank told me to go out there and throw a first pitch curveball, and sure enough I did, but I didn't, it took me probably 3 innings or so to get a good feel for my curveball in previous games. Sure enough, I threw a first pitch strike, and the hitter kind of looked at me just with a crazy look, just really can't throw a fastball first pitch, got to throw a curveball.
Evaluate for us what pitches you think are really ready, major league ready, and which pitches you believe still need some tweaking, need a little bit of work.
I feel like all my pitches right now are major league ready. It's just all about being more consistent with it and trusting the pitch and just having a good feel for it.
In part 2 of my conversation with Noah, who's been labeled as the second best right-handed pitching prospect in all of baseball, I asked what exactly drives him.
Just going out there and wanting to be the very best. I mean, being down here, I really enjoyed my time down here with the Barwis program. I feel like my off season has real big on just the strength training part of it, and we haven't neglected that by any means. But it's just there's days where we're working on speed and agility, flexibility. It's just all about becoming a well-rounded athlete, and I feel 10 times more athletic, being able to move a lot better, and I'm really looking forward to this season.
I read in the post where you said you grew up quite a bit last season. Take us a little bit deeper into that. What you meant by that?
There's one instance or one game that I can recall. It's we were playing the New Orleans Zephyrs. I guess it's the affiliate for the Marlins. And it was later in the season. And the first innings have always been a big problem for me. I think I gave up 5 runs in the first inning. I feel like for later or earlier in the season, like in April and May, I feel like the second inning I would probably given up another 3 runs, and I'd probably been out of the game by the 3rd inning. But I kind of got a little pissed off. Said some questionable language when I walked back into the dugout, kind of lit a fire within me. And I got back out there, and I think ended up going 6 innings, kept the team in the ball game. I think we ended up getting a win out of that as well. So I think that was a big key for me, not letting things snowball out of control.
It's a little bit of rain down in Florida today when we taped that interview. Jim Duquette, Andy Martino back alongside. And Andy, you spent some time in Vegas with Noah Syndergaard last season. Tell us about his makeup and your take on him, Noah Syndergaard, the man.
Yeah, he's a nice kid. You guys saw it right there. He is soft-spoken,
yep,
but he's reflective. And that was the piece that maybe got in his way a little bit last year. I asked him a direct question last August. If he got called up to the big leagues, would you be ready? And he said, of course I would if they called me, but I don't feel like I'm quite ready. And that was a comment that some people took like, but I was at pains to portray that fairly because I really thought what he was doing there was being reflective, self-aware. Granted, you're not going to hear that out of Matt Harvey, but he is at least a guy who understands how to take his mistakes, reflect on them, and try to pay it forward a little bit. So sensitive, soft-spoken, but a nice kid, and obviously he has a great arm.
Let's get a look at his 2014 numbers with Las Vegas. And based on these numbers and everything you know, Jim, what about worries surrounding this guy?
Well, I'm not too worried about that right now. He's only he pitched last year at 21 years old at a high level, at the AAA level, and you go back and think, geez, that's a big jump for anybody, especially going into the PCL. We know it's a big hitters league there. So I think from that perspective, you try to look at it and say, you know, you're not worried. He spent a lot of time there. Like Andy said, he's self-reflective. He maybe doesn't have the same swagger as a Harvey, but that's okay. Guys mature at different levels and different timetables. The good news is he's going to go back there. He knows what to expect. He knows eliminating that big inning or not having that second big inning in the same game. I think that's something that he can work on. But the stuff is there. There's no denying that. And I still think he gets to the big leagues sooner than Wheeler and Harvey did at the same age.
By the way, not many have the swagger that Matt Harvey,
special kind of,
that Matt Harvey has. What about the organization's plan for him in 2015?
Well, first and foremost, he just has to earn a promotion. He did not get the September call-up last year because he hadn't had the kind of year where he earned it. So, number one, he has to pitch well enough in spring training and then almost certainly in Vegas in April and May in order to earn a big league spot. Second, somebody has to get hurt. Something has to happen. A spot has to open up. This is pitching, so somebody will get hurt. And there has to be that confluence of the two factors. The club deems him ready, and there has to be an opportunity. They have a lot of depth there right now, so that opportunity might not come right away.